Alright, settle down, people. Welcome to the ultimate showdown, the clash of titans, the argument that has broken friendships and started family feuds for decades. I'm talking Lagos versus Abuja, the heavyweight championship of Niger cities. Which one truly wears the crown? Is it Iko, the city that never sleeps, the concrete jungle where dreams are made and traffic jams are legendary? Or is it Abuja, the cool, calm, and collected capital with its wide roads and seemingly endless supply of order? Forget what your uncle in the village told you. Tonight we settle this once and for all. This isn't just a comparison, it's a battle for bragging rights, a deep dive into the soul of Nigeria's most talked about urban centers, so grab your popcorn because it's about to get spicy. You see, choosing between Lagos and Abuja is like choosing between jollof rice cooked with firewood and the one made with a gas cooker. Both are jollof, yes, but the experience? Worlds apart, my people. Lagos hits you with a wave of raw, unfiltered energy the moment you step off the plane or bus. It's a city that demands your attention, your hustle, your very essence. Abuja, on the other hand, greets you with a deceptive calmness, a planned serenity that can either soothe your soul or, if you're a Lagosian at heart, make you wonder if you accidentally landed in a different country. The contrast is stark, dramatic, and utterly fascinating. The very air in these cities feels different. In Lagos, it's thick with ambition, the smell of street food, and the faint but persistent hum of a million generators. You breathe it in and suddenly you want to make it. To conquer, to join the relentless pursuit of success. In Abuja, the air is cleaner perhaps, the pace slower. It whispers of power, of connections, of a different kind of game being played, often behind closed doors and in hushed tones. It's a city that invites contemplation, a stark contrast to Lagos, which screams for participation in its daily vibrant chaos. So, who is this battle for? It's for the young graduate looking for their first job. It's for the entrepreneur scouting for the next big opportunity. It's for the family seeking a better quality of life, or perhaps just a change of scenery. It's for the creatives looking for inspiration, and for the tourists wanting a taste of urban Nigeria. Each city offers a unique proposition, a distinct flavor of Nigerian life. But which one offers the better deal? That, my friends, is the million naira question we are here to dissect, argue about, and maybe, just maybe, find an answer to. Let's talk about where you're going to lay your head after a long day accommodation. The great Nigerian house hunt. In Lagos, finding a decent place to rent can feel like an extreme sport. You'll meet agents who deserve their own Nollywood thriller series, promising you a palace and showing you a shoebox. The phrase self-contained in Lagos can mean anything from a reasonably sized apartment to a room where your bed, kitchen, and toilet are practically shaking hands. And the rent? Chai! You'll pay king's ransom for a lecky apartment that might still experience flooding or squeeze into a mainland face me I face you, sharing your life story with neighbors through thin walls. It's a character-building experience, to say the least. Then you have Abuja, the city of master plans and supposedly better living conditions. Renting here can be a more civilized affair sometimes. You're more likely to find newer buildings, spacious compounds, and estates where the roads are actually tarred and there are green spaces. But don't let the calm fool you. Prime locations in Maitama, Asokoro, or Wuse 2 will have your bank account weeping silent tears. While you might escape the sheer chaos of Lagos house hunting, the cost in these highbrow areas can be just as staggering, if not more. However, venture into the satellite towns and you might find more affordable, decent options, but then you contend with the commute. When it comes to the quality of accommodation itself, it's a mixed bag in both cities. Lagos often presents you with older structures patched up over years, where plumbing can be an adventure and NEPA bringing light is a cause for celebration. The Symphony of Generators is the city's unofficial anthem. Abuja, being newer, generally boasts better infrastructure within its planned areas. Buildings are often more modern, with better finishing. However, some of these newer estates can feel a bit soulless, lacking the vibrant community feel that, for all its faults, Lagos often provides in abundance. The quest for reliable power and water is still a common Nigerian narrative, though perhaps less dramatically so in some parts of Abuja. Ultimately, your budget and your tolerance for stress will dictate your housing experience. In Lagos, you might find something affordable but compromise heavily on space, comfort, or sanity dealing with landlords and co-tenants. In Abuja, you might find more space and modern amenities, but it could be further from the city center or stretch your finances to their limit. Both cities require a hefty dose of patience, a good agent if you can find one, and a prayer that you don't end up with a landlord who bans egusi soup because they don't like the smell. The struggle is real, my people. Now let's talk about the money in your pocket, or lack thereof, and your general well-being. Living costs in Lagos? Prepare for a roller coaster. From the pepper in the market to the bus fare, prices can change with the direction of the wind. Or so it seems. That Lagos tax is a real thing. Everything just seems to have an invisible surcharge because, well, it's Lagos. Transportation is a daily strategic warfare against traffic, agboros, and unpredictable BRT schedules. You learn to wake up before the chickens just to beat the gridlock, and by the time you get to work, you've already fought several battles. But this hustle also breeds resilience and a sharp mind for bargains. Abuja, on the other hand, is often perceived as the more expensive cousin, especially if you're chasing a certain lifestyle. Eating out in fancy restaurants, clubbing in Wuzatu, and living in the central districts will definitely drain your resources faster than water through a sieve. However, for everyday essentials, if you know the right markets and avoid the bougie traps, costs can be surprisingly manageable. Sometimes even less stressful than Lagos, because there's less daily financial pressure from unpredictable transport hikes or sudden market price explosions. The quality of life in Abuja can feel significantly calmer. Think wider roads, less noise pollution mostly, and more green spaces to breathe. The quality of life debate is where the real fight begins. Lagosians will tell you their city is vibrant, energetic, and full of opportunities, the true heart of Nigeria. They thrive on the chaos, the 24/7 buzz, the feeling that something is always happening, but this constant motion can be exhausting. The stress of Lagos living, the traffic, the noise, the sheer population density, can take a toll on your mental and physical health. It's a city that demands every ounce of your energy, and if you're not careful, it can chew you up and spit you out. Abuja offers a different proposition, a more serene, organized environment. It's often preferred by families and those who crave peace after work. You can actually drive for pleasure sometimes. Parks like Millennium Park offer genuine recreational spaces. However, this calm can be interpreted as boring by those used to Lagos' frenetic pace. The social scene, while growing, can feel more subdued, more dependent on who you know. The question is, what do you value more? The electrifying, if sometimes overwhelming pulse of Lagos, or the predictable, if sometimes monotonous rhythm of Abuja? Your sanity might depend on the answer. When it comes to food, oh my days, Lagos is the undisputed champion of street culinary delights. From the buka down the road serving amala that will make you speak in tongues, to the suya spots grilling magic under the moonlight, Eko is a foodie's paradise. You can find every Nigerian ethnic group's cuisine, and international options are booming too. The sheer variety and accessibility of cheap delicious food is a major Lagos W. You haven't lived until you've had Lagos ajeji bread with ewa agoyan by the roadside, or fresh seafood at Elegushi Beach. It's a city that feeds your belly and your soul simultaneously. Abuja's food scene is, shall we say, more curated. You'll find plenty of high-end restaurants offering continental dishes and excellent spots for northern Nigerian cuisine like masa and kalishi. The city is catching up with more diverse options, but the spontaneous, discover a hidden gem street food culture isn't as pervasive as in Lagos. While you can find good food, it often requires a bit more searching or a bigger budget. Abuja does shine with its clean, organized markets like Woozy, where you can get fresh produce, but the raw, unadulterated joy of stumbling upon amazing food on every Lagos street corner is a unique Iko experience. Culturally, Lagos is the undisputed engine room of Nigeria. It's the birthplace of Afrobeats, the heart of Nollywood, and a global fashion hotspot. Art galleries in Victoria Island and Ikeja showcase incredible talent, and there's always a concert, a play, a festival, or an exhibition happening. The creative energy is palpable, raw, and infectious. Freedom Park, Terra Culture, New Africa Shrine, these are institutions. Abuja, while home to national monuments like the National Mosque and the National Christian Center and hosting the National Museum, has a more formal, perhaps less organic arts scene. It's growing with places like BMT Gardens and various cultural events, but it doesn't quite have that gritty, vibrant, always-on cultural pulse of Lagos. For tourists, both cities offer unique attractions. Lagos boasts beaches, though be prepared for the crowds and the occasional hygiene concern. The Lekki Conservation Center with its canopy walk, the historic Badagry slave route, and the aforementioned cultural hubs. Abuja offers architectural marvels, ASO Rock and Zuma Rock, from a distance mostly for ASO Rock, Millennium Park for relaxation, and Jabi Lake for waterside activities. Abuja is perhaps easier to navigate for a tourist seeking calm and planned sightseeing. Lagos offers immersion, a dive into the deep end of Nigerian urban life. So, who wins this ultimate showdown? Iko or Abuja? The choice, as always, is yours. Tell me, which city captures your heart and why? Let the debate continue in the comments.